Hey everyone, today I'm going to be bringing you a more interesting kind of video. A little bit ago, I brought you the starter Pokemon in their basic forms, and ranked them all weakest to strongest. But that also got me thinking about how strong other Pokemon are in their basic forms. So here we are with the top 10 strongest first stage Pokemon. Before we get into it though, there are a few rules that I laid out for this. Of course, the Pokemon needs to be the first in the line, meaning that it does not evolve from another Pokemon. Simple enough. But the second rule I decided to put out there was not including Pokemon that gained a cross-generational evolution, such as Tangela and Scyther. The reason I decided to include this rule is because I just felt that Pokemon like that were decently powerful before receiving an evolution, meaning they no doubt be at the top of the list. So to keep things a bit more fair, they will not be included. I hope you all get my reasonings for this. Now I know you guys are excited to get into these top 10 first stage Pokemon, but first I want to talk about today's sponsor, Audible. So just in case you're all out of the loop, Audible is a service provided by Amazon, which has really set the standard for spoken word entertainment and audiobooks, really blazing a trail for their future, all while being the top option in the industry. They've got everything on the service from recently released books to absolute classics, along with memoirs from all your favorite famous people. However, if it's original content like podcasts that you're truly into, well, Audible has you covered there. I know I love listening to a good podcast every so often. There are thousands upon thousands of titles available to enjoy, so you're definitely bound to find a ton of stuff to indulge in. Audible's new Plus catalog features all that great content, including their exclusive Words Plus Music series. Do you ever find yourself feeling a little cynical? Perhaps you also have some issues getting good sleep? Well, you know what? I think Audible has something that would help you out with that. More bedtime stories for cynics. Nick Offerman and a slew of celebs will give you a mature take on some top stories that will have you laughing so much you'll tire yourself to sleep. So after hearing all this, truly you must understand that now is the time to try Audible Plus and open yourself up to a world of audiobooks. Go over to audible.com/MysticUmbreon or text MysticUmbreon to 500-500 and get yourself a free 30-day trial so you too can enjoy the great Audible Plus catalog. Coming in at number 10, we have a destructively strong fighting type in Metatite. While Metatite has fairly mediocre stats as a whole, Pure Power makes this average at best option become a fairly difficult Pokemon to switch into. Having its base 40 attack stat doubled allows you to hit 358, which just passes anything with a 113 base stat and a boosting nature after full investment and perfect IVs. Imagine switching in on an attack like High Jump Kick or Zen Headbutt from something like that, because not even a lot of fully evolved Pokemon even like doing that. If you think that's crazy, couple this with Priority and Fake Out and Bullet Punch. Even options that may try to outpace and kill Metatite struggle to actually do anything. Metatite is proportionally to its base form counterparts as scary as Mega Mawile would be in the fully evolved scale. But in this case, its speed at base 65 is actually considered fairly fast when taking into account other unevolved Pokemon stats. Overall, Metatite is an incredible menace, and the only thing holding it back from being higher on the list is how strong the higher up Pokemon on this list rank in a fully evolved metagame, rather than just in comparison to the base forms. At number 9 on this list, we go to the Clam Pokemon, Clam Pearl. A pretty destructive unevolved option. Clam Pearl is one of the potentially scariest options in the sense that it's pretty easy to make this small clam go from a killable option into something that's impossible to revenge thanks to Shell Smash. Clam Pearl has a fairly strong offensive pairing of 64 and 74 respectively, with 32 base speed. With these, in tandem with its water typing, Clam Pearl can actually pick up a lot of momentum with Shell Smash in order to clear through opposing teams, especially when you pair this thing with the Deep Sea Tooth, which doubles your special attack. We mentioned how scary Metatite is with base 40 attack and Pure Power. But try imagining Clam Pearl, who has base 74 special attack, that gets doubled with Deep Sea Tooth, and also a +2 boost with Shell Smash. Even without any EVs, if you got a +2 and held the Deep Sea Tooth, you hit a total of 736 special attack, which hits harder than Adamant Zacian Crowned with max investment. To think that Clam Pearl can end up being one of the strongest Pokemon in existence after such little investment or setup is pretty insane. But due to the fact it's a bit difficult to even gain this positioning, is why we place this at only number 9 on our list. Our other Pokemon on this list are a bit more reliable in terms of their ability to handle themselves. And to start off this set, we have our number 8 unevolved Pokemon being Shellmet. Shellmet at first glance may seem like a bit of a weirder option, however it has a lot of backup to its skill. Like everything on this list, Shellmet has access to Eviolite, which makes it a pretty hard Pokemon to kill in tandem with its base 50 HP, 85 defense, and 65 special defense. Not only this, but Shellmet has access to Recover to help it take on hits from most offensive Pokemon while being able to stall them out. Shellmet may be no offensive behemoth like our previous contenders, however, it's been known to take on even some of OU's greatest nightmares, such as Urshifu and Marshadow before either were banned. Shellmet having Shell Armor as an ability allowed it to become a check to Urshifu thanks to it being 3-hit KO'd, even by Adamant Choice Span Wicked Blow. Due to the fact that most other Pokemon with Shell Armor or Battle Armor hate taking one of its stabs between Wicked Blow or close combat. Shellmet, on the other hand, is a fighting resist and is neutral to Dart, making it the perfect niche option to handle Urshifu. Shellmet also has options to Spikes and Toxic Spikes, along with Baton Pass in order to switch into something stronger after taking a hit and forcing out specific key threats you may want it to handle. Shellmet has allowed itself to take on these very specific roles against such dangerous Pokemon on multiple occasions, which allowed it to secure a spot at number 8 on our list. Number 7 on our list comes from a fairly viable low-tier water type in Mourinhi. Mourinhi basically is like Toxapex, except for the fact it has a lot less bulk. However, that doesn't really matter since Eviolite makes up for the bulk you'd miss on the first glance, which allows it to function in lower tiers as basically a mini Toxapex. Mourinhi is the epitome of use Recover and switch until you win, making it an annoyingly fat Pokemon to break even for something that has never evolved. While Mourinhi lacks Baneful Bunker, which Toxapex has access to in order to potentially gain positions, when using its version of Protect, you still have access to moves like Knockoff, Toxapex, and even Haze to help take down potentially threatening offensive options. Pair these with Regenerator, and Mourinhi can pretty comfortably handle a plethora of opposing Pokemon, which secures it at our number 7 spot on this list. Our number 6 spot goes to none other than Abra. Abra is a pretty interesting option on this list, sporting a very strong 105 special attack and 90 speed, making it not only one of the fastest unevolved Pokemon, but also one of the strongest as well, before abilities or items. Abra being a Psychic type this generation helps it a lot as well, seeing as you no longer need the deal of Pursuit upon switch in, which allows Abra to be able to play a lot more recklessly when handling other threatening options. While Abra lacks Focus Blast like its fully evolved counterpart Alakazam, you still have access to a plethora of coverage such as Dazzling Gleam, Energy Ball, and Shadow Ball, while still having access to a fair bit of good utility moves such as Knockoff and Thunderwave. Abra also has access to Magic Guard, which helps it actually stay alive to fire a hit if you're worried about something guaranteeing the KO versus as long as you pair it with a Focus Sash. This allows you the option to even run counter if you choose, depending on the Pokemon you'd face. Or, if you feel lucky, you can forgo that altogether and just run Life Orb, since you'll take no damage from doing so anyway. Overall, Abra is a fairly strong option that can arguably function even better as a glass cannon than a good chunk of fully evolved Pokemon. And if not for Kadabra and Alakazam just being more reliable options in their respective tiers, Abra may have even become a staple in non-LC tiers. Starting off our top half, the number 5 spot goes to everyone's favorite glutton, Munchlax. Munchlax is one of the most annoying users of the Eviolite in the game due to its typing of pure normal, which means it only has one weakness, being to fighting. Not only this, but Munchlax has a monstrous 135 base HP stat, which, even without investment, hits significantly higher than a majority of Pokemon who choose to invest fully in their HP. Munchlax may have a low defense stat at only 40, however, this can be fairly easily supplemented by running a Curse set, which not only make up for that defense stat, but also help boost its offense as well, allowing it to slowly snowball into a threat that is pretty impossible to break, or even in some cases, take a hit from. Munchlax, being a pure normal type, has a fairly wide range of coverage options that can be tailored to whatever you need it for, whether a specific in-game fight or even another team you'd play on Wi-Fi or Showdown. Munchlax also, unlike most normal types, actually really benefits from running Body Slam over Return or Frustration, since it's able to paralyze its opponents to allow for an easier time to set up curses, which helps it secure a spot at number 5. Our 4th place spot is none other than Ferrocede. Ferrocede, similarly to Mourinhi, is a Pokemon that functions basically the same exact as its fully evolved counterpart. However, Ferrocede has a few legs up on Mourinhi. For one, unlike Mourinhi's 1 hazard, Ferrocede has 2, being Spikes and Stealth Rocks. While still sporting knockoff like Mourinhi, Ferrocede also has options like Leech Seed and Thunder Wave, as well for utility, with a strong defensive ability in Iron Barbs to help detour enemies from wanting to make contact with it. This ability, in tandem with the move Endure, can be used to help take on threats such as Dracovish or other strong physical options easier, especially if you choose to forgo Eviolite for, let's say, a Rocky Helmet. You'd be able to basically do 2/3 of your opponent's health for purely existing, which, depending on what you wanted to handle, may be a worthwhile trade. Ferrocede, also being a Steel type, allows it to check 2 of the scariest types in the game, being Fairies and Dragons, which, while both types typically have some sort of fire option in their arsenal for Ferrocede, the fact that this Pokemon would force them to run a move just for Ferrocede over some other potentially more useful move is why Ferrocede runs away with the 4th spot on this list. Coming in at 3rd on our list, we have none other than Volaby. Volaby is basically the equivalent of Mew for baby Pokemon. You can pretty easily tailor it to do whatever you desire. Do you want a Pokemon that can take a hit and recover easily by throwing an Eviolite on to roost all your enemies out? Or do you need something to try to be a more offensive option? You could give it weak armor and nasty plot, so you can pretty quickly try to pressure your opponent's team with a more offensive set while ensuring you'll outpace them so they can't revenge you. The dark flying typing, with its overall impressive stat line, sets this apart from a majority of options thus far. And that doesn't even account for things like U-turn as a momentum option, or utility options such as Tailwind, Defog, and Knockoff. There are a lot of fully evolved Pokemon that actually struggle against Volaby, even since most Psychic types actually really struggle against this, as do most Pokemon that lack a super effective option to damage this. In terms of typical Little Cup style Pokemon, this tops the list. However, Volaby has to deal with competition with 2 other Pokemon, who in my eyes surpass even Volaby somehow. The penultimate spot on this list is none other than the new addition to Generation 8, Galarian Corsola. Galar Corsola is basically the baby Pokemon equivalent of Chansey. With a defensive stat spread of base 60 HP and 100 in both defenses, Galar Corsola is the Galar attempt at finding some defensive behemoth to potentially rival the likes of Chansey. While the Johto counterpart lacks an evolution, Galar Corsola actually has one in Corsola, which leaves it not only eligible to hold an Eviolite to buff these stats, but it makes it eligible to even be a contender on this list. Sorry Johtonian Corsola, maybe you'll get some love on our next list. If this wasn't enough, its ability Cursed Body allows it to help check even Pokemon who may have a super effective attack to get past Corsola, such as Knockoff or Shadow Ball, since there's a 30% chance it'll be completely disabled for a few turns. Galar Corsola proves itself to be arguably one of the strongest defensive Pokemon in this group. However, there's an option at number 1 that proves to be strong not only defensively, but also offensively. Our top spot goes to none other than Type Null. Type Null is a fairly terrifying option, since just like how Type Null was a combination of other Pokemon fused together, it is basically really strong for a combination of everything else previously mentioned combined. Want a strong normal type like Munchlax with Eviolite access but better? Type Null has that with its 95, 95, 95 defensive stat line, while also having 95 in both offenses. Want a Pokemon that can set up and become an offensive menace like Clam Pearl? Type Null, while not the same immediately strong setup in Shell Smash, can set up with Swords Dance and Flame Charge to become a menace to enemies, without needing an item to become a nightmare to take a hit against. Need a Pokemon to avoid crits like Shellmet? Type Null has access to Battle Armor, which is just a renamed version of Shell Armor. Type Null basically has Volaby's versatility, but packed into a far stronger package, making it a fairly terrifying option even in a general sense, let alone when considering this thing can evolve. Its stats are basically Savali's, barring speed, which is only 59. However, this having Eviolite access and only one weakness due to its normal typing makes it the strongest first stage Pokemon. Well, that's going to do it for my rankings of the top 10 base form Pokemon. What'd you guys think? Let me know your guys' rankings in the comments below, as I'd love to discuss your guys' thoughts on it. So with that said, thank you to everyone for watching the video. Huge thanks to my phenomenal team and the amazing art done each week by Danny the Demon. I couldn't do all this without them. If you all enjoyed the video and want to see more content like this, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Be sure to leave a comment too, as it really helps us out. I also do other content on my Twitch, where I stream Genshin Impact, Mystic Zora, where I do Pokemon Let's Plays and other gaming content, and of course MysticSage, where I do all anime content. Right now, I'm focusing on Inuyasha and Yashahime, so if you're interested in that, be sure to check it out. If you'd like to support me even further than that, check out my Patreon. Whether it's a $1 tip to get early thumbnail access, or the $10 tier to get cool perler bead charms and a shoutout. There's tons of reasons to join today. These lovely people did, and I thank them all so much for their support. It really means the world to me. I think I'm gonna wrap this up though. I'm Mr. Gumbrion, and I will see you all next time with some more amazing Pokemon content.